The ocean supports a wide range of industries such as fishing, shipping, and tourism, thereby providing significant source of livelihood for billions of people worldwide. I'm glad you could join us once again today on another interesting episode of Nimasa this week, where it's all about the maritime sector, both home and abroad. I remain your uncle, Moyioluwa Olutayo. Welcome on board.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, cordially invites members of the public to a one-day sensitization forum on the disbursement of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, CVFF. The date is 12th May 2025, time 10 a.m., and the venue, Eco Hotel and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos. Please note that registration is a prerequisite for attendance. Deadline for registration is 8th May 2025. For more information, visit www.nimasa.gov.ng. Signed, Management.
The program is Nimasa this week, and we set the ball rolling today from the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, the designated authority for the implementation of the International Ship and Port Facility Security ISPS code here in Nigeria. A one-day maritime security conference was hosted by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency's ISPS units here in Lagos, with the government security agencies in attendance, and the focus was on the need to have a robust maritime security framework in Nigeria. Here's the report.
A one-day maritime security conference was recently hosted in Lagos by the ISPS unit of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. The event served as a follow-up to a broader meeting that included representatives from various security and related agencies responsible for implementing the ISPS code. Nimasa, as the designated authority for the implementation of the International Ship and Port Facility Security Code in Nigeria, regularly organizes meetings like this to promote coordinated actions aimed at enhancing the security of our ports. A paper was presented by IMO Maritime Consultant, retired Flight Lieutenant Terry Ajobena, titled Maritime Security, a Collaborative Approach to Enhancing Nigeria's Blue Economy.
Maritime security is vital for several reasons. First of which is maritime trade contributes significantly to our nation's economy, with some experts estimating it contributes 12.5% of the nation's GDP and 85% of the nation's external trade, and much of this trade obviously goes through our waters.
This was followed by a panel session with representatives of government security agencies, focusing on the importance of establishing a robust maritime security framework in Nigeria. The vote of thanks on behalf of the Executive Director of Operations at Nimasa, Engineer Fatai Adeyemi, was delivered by the Director of Shipping Development, Mr. Chris Amakulo.
We should look at our existing laws, come up reviews and recommendations so that they can go and build global best practice when it comes to maritime security.
The Nigerian Ports Authority, under the leadership of our Managing Director, remains fully committed to working with all stakeholders, both local and international, to enhance maritime security through collaboration, investment in critical infrastructure, and support for innovative security strategies.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, cordially invites members of the public to a one-day sensitization forum on the disbursement of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, CVFF. The date is 12th May 2025, Time 10 a.m. and the venue Eco Hotel and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos. Please note that registration is a prerequisite for attendance. Deadline for registration is 8th May 2025. For more information, visit www.nimasa.gov.ng. Signed, Management.
Welcome back on the program. Is still Nimasa this week. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, plays a key role in promoting the blue economy in Nigeria. At the just concluded 36th edition of the Enugu International Trade Fair, Nimasa highlighted potential for investment within the blue economy in Nigeria, with a call from the Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Dayo Mobiriola, for private individuals and corporate investors to seize opportunities within the maritime industry. Here's the report.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, spotlighted investment opportunities in the blue economy at the 36th Enugu International Trade Fair, calling on private individuals and corporate investors to take advantage of emerging prospects, particularly within the maritime sector. The Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Dayo Mobiriola, made this call through his representative, Mr. Umar Mohammed Salisu, the Deputy Director of Planning, Research and Data Management Services.
In line with the renewed hope agenda of the federal government of Nigeria to achieve inclusive prosperity through job creation among other objectives, the executive management of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, has prioritized the promotion of indigenous shipping development for meaningful participation of Nigerians in domestic and international sea trade. In this regard, Nimasa management has adopted system approach that provide for integrated development strategy.
Dr. Mobiriola also extended appreciation to the Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Ndubisi Mba, and the leadership of the Enugu Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture for organizing the trade fair. He described the event as a vital platform for business networking and driving investment. As part of its mandate to regulate maritime activities and promote sustainable use of ocean resources, Nimasa plays a central role in advancing Nigeria's blue economy. The agency continues to participate in trade fairs and exhibitions nationwide to attract investment into the maritime sector, with the Enugu International Trade Fair being the latest example. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, cordially invites members of the public to a one-day sensitization forum on the disbursement of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, CVFF. The date is 12th May 2025, time 10 a.m., and the venue, Eco Hotel and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos. Please note that registration is a prerequisite for attendance. Deadline for registration is 8th May 2025. For more information, visit www.nimasa.gov.ng. Signed, Management. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, is committed to upholding global best practices in the delivery of maritime services across Nigeria. By leveraging modern tools that ensure efficiency and effectiveness, Nimasa is driving the development of indigenous capacity while working to eliminate barriers within the maritime sector. At the core of this effort is the Nimasa Library, a hybrid facility combining digital and traditional resources, supporting maritime learning, research, and innovation. With a vision to become a world-class maritime knowledge hub, the library embraces technologies such as 5G and the Internet of Things, enhancing global visibility and access, even in remote locations. Now let's hear from Modinat Rosimi, a library officer at Nimasa, as she takes us on a tour of the facility and its unique offerings.
Welcome to Nimasa Library. My name is Rosimi Modinat, a library officer. I'm going to show you around the library, the resources and the facilities we have. Please come with me. This is the circulation unit. First contact when you're coming to the conventional library. You come here, you can read here, then you always register user here and you borrow books as well and return. So we have digitized and manual system which we use. The digitized system is we use the active shelf to register user, to borrow books, and the manual one as well. Sometimes we can use their book to write down their names and their details. So majority of the staffs and stakeholders are registered on the active shelf platform. Okay, this is a book sterilizing machine. Actually, it's removed the dust and microorganisms from the book to preserve the books. So this is how it works. So you can see it's sterilizing the book here, removing all the germs and fungi from the books. Okay, and this is a book binder. We use it for project materials and other library materials. So the binder grips the books to make it firm. This is actually different from the regular binder. It uses its process to bind the books. This is the media unit where you come to watch TV and programs on YouTube, CNN, different channels, and Nimasa this week as well. And also we do group discussion here. People come here for brief meetings and book reviews. This is the reference room where reference books are kept. Example of the books you'll find here are the encyclopedia and books. We have the Maritime Dictionary, reference manuals, engineering dictionaries, and books on maritime security and atlas, and many more others. This is the digital room where we scan documents and books and upload. This is one of the scanners here, and okay, and that's it. These are other scanners. Okay. So this is a foil printer. This is where we conclude the bind books to write their labels and their topics. We do that within the library as well.
We also had a quick chat with the head of the library, Aisha Askira, who shared her insights into the vision of the Nimasa Library.
The vision of this library was established to have a maritime library in Nigeria. We want to have a knowledge-based maritime administration in Nigeria. We want people to have knowledge, to gain knowledge. Maritime shipping is something people are not used to, and they need to gain that knowledge, to gain that information. That's why we're established to serve the generality of the public to access maritime knowledge. Our services are unique because it serves a section of people in the aviation will not come here. So that is why we are special, because we only provide information as it relates to the shipping and maritime industry. The library is being automated. All our services are being automated using the library management software. In libraries, we use a software where we automate our library services. So all the working processes in the library is being automated. So we are using technology to go with current trends. Years back, we used to have a traditional library whereby all our services we're offering is traditional, conventional library services to staff and stakeholders. But recent, this past few years, the library has been remodeled and transformed to international standard. That's to say, we operate a hybrid type of library, whereby we have electronic type of library and the conventional type of library. So we operate both libraries on first floor and the second floor. The second floor has the electronic library, whereby we have our internet, where we have our computers on workstations, we have our multipurpose printers, scanners, all connected to the Nimasa network and connected to internet facility. And we have the first floor, whereby we have the traditional, the conventional library, whereby people come, sit down, access the books. We have the physical books, and our circulation desk is also there to serve the general public and staff.
The library is accessible online at www.nimasaelibraryonline.org and is also listed on Google Maps for easy physical access. Open to Nimasa staff, industry stakeholders, Nigerian citizens, and the general public, the Nimasa Library ensures inclusive access to maritime knowledge for all. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, cordially invites members of the public to a one-day sensitization forum on the disbursement of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, CVFF. The date is 12th May 2025, time 10 a.m., and the venue, Eco Hotel and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos. Please note that registration is a prerequisite for attendance. Deadline for registration is 8th May 2025. For more information, visit www.nimasa.gov.ng. Signed, Management.
Welcome back, and the program is still Nimasa this week. We'll be moving on straight to the United Nations Sustainable Development segment, where our focus today is on goal number 14, titled Life Below Water. Saratu Audu, an Assistant Chief Maritime Safety Officer with ISPS unit, will be speaking with us on SDG 14. Stay with us.
Conservation, preservation, and proper utilization of the seas and oceans guides the operations of the oceans and the seas, in Nigeria and of course across the global, nations. And in this edition of the SDGs, we'll be talking about SDG 14, which talks about life below water and the need to conserve these organisms, of course, from one generation to another generation, which also aligns with the concepts of the blue economy. With me on this segment is Saratu Audu. She is an Assistant Chief Maritime Safety Officer in the ISPS unit department of Nimasa. Saratu, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Femi.
Thank you very much for coming
My
on this
pleasure to be here.
program. On this edition, we're discussing SDG 14, Life Below Water. Can you tell us, what is Nimasa doing to preserve these organisms that are below water?
What Nimasa as a sector, Nimasa is part of the maritime sector contributing to this SDG 14, is doing is the conventions and the laws guiding the implementation of this roadmap.
Okay.
That's action created. There are 10 actions created by this SDG 14.
Okay.
So Nimasa has created roadmaps using this. One of the roadmap is prevention and reduction of pollution, through which Nimasa is using the domesticated conventions like the MAPOL, the London Convention, to reduce and prevent pollution entering our waterways throughout. Then using the law of the sea too, to prevent pollution and guide the coastline too. And part of what Nimasa has done on this too is the marine litter action plan and plastic. That's marine action plan on marine litters and plastic.
Okay.
And sensitization on the coastal areas too, on the implication of waste entering our waterways, plastic, then the need of conserving our ecosystems too.
I will ask you this before I ask you the final question. Life below water.
Exactly.
Somebody out there is asking, what are these things that are below the water? Can you just give us a list of those things that can be found underwater, life below water, that needs to be preserved and conserved for the future generation?
For a layman,
yes,
in
for
Nigeria, a layman is fishes. Yes. For someone that lives in the maritime community, that's someone that is living in the Niger Delta, he was born and bred there. The Lagos community, the Lagos Lago people,
the coastal communities.
Yes, the coastal communities. They know the important. They know the sea grasses. They know the mangroves. They know other, even the martinis that we have. There are some biodiversity that is only in Nigeria that we have them.
Interesting.
And they know the whales. If you ask them, they will see sometimes it's time for whales are coming, sharks are coming. Those are carbon fixers too. So those are, it's not life below water, that's SDG 14. It's not only about life below water, but it's linked to the faculty of human culture, because that's where the generation of economy is. Energy, food, livelihood, whatever it is. And the ocean is 70% of the world. So you can imagine if something happened to the ocean.
Thank you very much, Hajia. I'll just ask you this final question. Just in 30 seconds, tell us, after 2030, what next?
SDG means Sustainable Development Goals. So as you're developing this globe for sustainability, but you need sustainability after these goals too.
Okay.
So what research is bringing out, what are you sustaining after the sustainable goals? That's our take-home.
Food for thought. Thank you, Hajia Inoa. She has said it all. The world is covered up by 70% of the world is all about water. And like our guest said, if the water or the oceans are destroyed, what happens to humankind? You and I have the responsibility to continue to protect our oceans, both from the land and of course to the sea, so that you and I can leave something for the future generation. This is a food for thought for you. And it's a wrap on this segment. My name is Femi Kumuyi. I remain your host. Thank you and see you next time.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, cordially invites members of the public to a one-day sensitization forum on the disbursement of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, CVFF. The date is 12th May 2025, time 10 a.m., and the venue, Eco Hotel and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos. Please note that registration is a prerequisite for attendance. Deadline for registration is 8th May 2025. For more information, visit www.nimasa.gov.ng. Signed, Management.
Wow, it's been an interesting time. As we drop anchor for today, hope you enjoy the voyage as much as we have. Don't forget to join us next week for more interesting stories and insight into the maritime world. Until then, stay anchored in knowledge and keep exploring. Bye for now.